Oh, hello there! Not often you find another wanderer this deep into the hills. Why am I here? Well, no, there's actually a very good reason. Treasure. Yes, treasure. And let me tell you all about it. The mystery, controversy, and madness in the hunt for the hidden treasure of Forrest Fenn. Forrest Fenn, a man, a myth, a legend, fighter pilot, antiquities dealer, and art curator, living large in the old US of A. Star wiped in 1988. At the age of 58, Forrest gets a diagnosis. It's the Big C, and it's most likely terminal. Now, old Forrest was a wealthy guy and also a bit, bizarre. Upon receiving the diagnosis, he made a plan. He was going to stick a selection of the treasures he had collected in his life, coins, jewels, antiques, etc., into a box, and then go hide it somewhere in the hills. Then he was going to die where he hid it and stage the whole thing as an elaborate treasure hunt.
Why?
So the mad lad gets to work preparing his loot box gravestone when God throws a wrench into the works. The cancer goes into remission. Forrest is going to live. So the hunt is on pause before it can even begin. Star wiped forward another 20 years. It's 2010. Kasha is missing the trademark on TikTok. BP lubricates the ocean. The Burj is opened. Fenn, meanwhile, has been filling his box full of stuff. Still intent on the treasure hunt, though this time minus his dead body lying next to it. So Forrest heads out into the hills one day and hides the treasure somewhere. To accompany its hiding, Fenn publishes a memoir called The Thrill of the Chase. It's a collection of short stories about his life, but it also happens to include a number of clues as to the location of the treasure, the big boy being this poem alluding to its location. The treasure itself was valued at over $1 million at this point, and now it's hiding somewhere just out there in the Rocky Mountains. $1 million hiding in the hills? Sign me up! So it began. Still a pretty niche event all in all. Small communities start to develop, some people get to talk to Forrest himself and learn a few more clues. Really just some wholesome outdoor fun for the whole family. 3 years into the hunt, February 27th, 2013, the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt gets featured on The Today Show, its first major media appearance.
And then it's not a secret anymore. It's information.
Great to give the whole affair a spotlight, but what it also did was throw the doors open to the general public. And the general public is a really mixed bunch of eggs, especially when we've caught the smell of gold. $1 million hiding in the hills? Sign me up! Here's where things pick up. The community starts to flourish as new blood joins the hunt. Some hunters begin long-time friendships with Forrest, thousands of new tracks out into the wild, people meet and marry within the thriving community. There was even a convention made called Fennbaree, where Forrest himself would just come and hang out with all of the hunters. Things got crazy. They even made a golden statue to the man himself.
Shrine and everything. Like, there's literally a shrine. There is a golden Fenn, which is a giant Captain America statue, spray-painted gold with the letter F burned into its chest, and it's on a bunch of picnic tables. And when you arrive, you're meant to leave an offering.
Fenn was also giving out a few more clues. There's no really obscure things in the clues, no ciphers or numerology or anything like that. But people had caught the smell of gold. Maybe when Fenn says there's nothing really obscure about the clues, what he really means is that we need to chemically alter the pages of his book to find a hidden code. And those were barely the start. In came the real crazies, death threats, conspiracies, people creeping around his family home. Fenn said he needed to give more specific clues because he had a genuine fear someone would try to dig up his father's grave. One hunter went so deep into the hunt that he believed the real treasure was Fenn's granddaughter. He ended up being put in prison for stalking her. But he kept going. After he was released, he cut off his own tracking bracelet and started stalking her again. But Fenn's family weren't the only ones in danger over the course of this hunt.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
It's believed 5 people have died in the search for the treasure of Forrest Fenn. The first one came in 2016 and immediately caused a big uproar in the media. What did this mean for the hunt? Well, Forrest was of the opinion that people really should take some responsibility for themselves. When you're going into the mountains, don't be dumb. The hunt continued, but Fenn gave a few extra clues to try and help quell the outcry. I hid the treasure as an 80-year-old man. You don't need to scale mountains and brave rivers. I just walked out and hid the treasure. The search goes on, but, don't be dumb. Nonetheless, the search would claim 4 more lives. By 2019, the treasure still was yet to be found, and it seemed the whole thing was really wearing on Fenn. One of the lead hunters recently shared some emails between herself and Finn that showed Finn was seriously considering calling off the whole treasure hunt.
Remember me!
Alright, I'll keep it going just a bit longer. Surely someone must be close. June 6th, 2020. Somewhere in the hills of Wyoming, a longtime hunter known as The Finder had found the fabled treasure after a 25-day stint into the wild. He went on to alert Finn about its capture, then they met at Finn's home in New Mexico. Finn himself went on to confirm the end of the hunt for the community. The two agreed that they should alert the community to its capture, but to not disclose where it had been hidden. We got some photos of the treasure, Finn himself confirmed the end, and that really should have been the end of it, but the community was far more invested than that. Where was it? Who found it? That guy stole my treasure! In short order, angry hunters got the feds involved, and the Finder had to reveal his identity. Before the end of the year, the Finder was unmasked as 32-year-old medical student Jack Stoof, and he reported that it had been found in Wyoming. But something else happened before the end of the year. Forrest Fenn died. On September 7th, 2020, just 3 months after the search finally ending, Fenn passed away by natural causes. Respectfully, Stoof wrote an article about Fenn for the community as his role as the Finder. For the community themselves, they mourned, an end to both the treasure hunt itself and the man behind it. It seemed it was time to move on. Move on? F that. A lot of people had dedicated themselves to this quest, and they weren't going to let the treasure just slip through their fingers. Literally every angle was taken. The Finder wasn't real, the treasure was never real. Fenn went and got the treasure himself. Admittedly, there were a few things that were suspicious. The short time between the finding of the treasure and Fenn passing away. The Finder just happened to have experience as a journalist who could not only leave a well-written Finder letter, but also presumably a novel in a few years about Fenn himself. Then again, maybe not. And then there were the emails. Remember these? These were the gasoline on the conspiracy fire. How convenient that someone just happened to find the treasure so soon after Fenn wanted it to end. The most recent email was dated March 2020, only 3 months before the supposed find. People had sunk years of their life into this hunt, and it just couldn't be gone. One hunter claimed Stoof had hacked her emails and found the treasure based on her clues. Another hunter is suing Fenn's estate for $10 million, claiming that he had figured out the clues, but Fenn, under the cover of the pandemic, snuck off and moved the chest. Other hunters were claiming that there never really was a treasure at all. Stoof, for his part, has been consistent in his story as the Finder, confirmed both by Fenn himself and another member of Fenn's family. Fenn put forward all of the money that he made related to the hunt, book sales, appearances, etc. towards charity, so there's no real financial motive there. Likewise, it seems all of the big hunters who were close to Fenn believe in his integrity, that it was no hoax nor just all for the attention. For the moment, the conspiracies still run a bit hot, but without much evidence to back them up. It seems passions still run high for a few in the community. Though, from my own investigations, the majority of the Fenn hunters community have been respectful of both the find and the hunt overall, grateful for the excitement over the past few years and the new connections that they've made along the way. Quite a journey to be sure. Was it for real? Was it all a hoax? Don't ask me, I'm just a simple salad. For the moment, I'll just be sitting here, enjoying the real treasure that I found in these hills. The trees, the birds, the great outdoors, and the beautiful stars above. Lamp salad. Yummy, yummy.